Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Northside Plow with Pop One Podcast. We are here yet again with Danny. He is coming with another deck profile. He went to Action TCG in Slidell. I actually went out there with Alex and just Alex and Danny. We went out there, played for their Maze of Memories CASE tournament.
Yep, their 3-year anniversary with an OTS box. It was cool.
Yeah, half OTS box, doing all that. Alex actually ended up going first, and Danny went top 8. So we're going to go ahead and get his profile and let you see what he did.
Yeah.
All right, let's see what you got.
All right, so I went in this weekend with Labyrinth. I love this deck. I love back row decks. Obviously, if you guys have been a fan of the channel for a while now, you know that I love Eldritch. I love any kind of control. So I ended up taking this. It was a lot of fun. We'll get into the ratios, and I'll kind of discuss a little bit going further and if I want to play this deck anymore. So we've got 3 Lady Labyrinths. She's pretty good. Some people are playing 2, but you just always want to see the 3rd. There was 1 or 2 times where I sided the 3rd out, and you just want to see her with the amount of traps you have. I'm playing 2 of the little girl. She is really good because she searches out whatever you need her to search out. She's just your starter that you're going to generically go with. And then we have the 1 brick. I say the brick because yes, she is very good, but I wouldn't know that because I drew her more than any other of these other ones. I actually took a tally on my phone after the event, and I drew her 7 times as both of these combined. I drew 7 times as well. Oh, wow. So I don't know, maybe the deck hates me, but this is my Labyrinth monster core. It's pretty good. There's no Ku Klux in here. There's none of the furniture. I didn't have any time to test with that, so that's my reasoning on that. And then we're running 1 Lord of the Heavenly Prison. This should probably be at 2. The only matches, the match that cost me the top 8 actually was game 3. I didn't open this up, and he opened Harpy's Feather Duster. Guess what? GG. So that might be getting pumped up. So those are like your core engine monsters right there. Now obviously we're running 3 Big Welcome. 3 Welcome Labyrinths. You have to run this. If you're running any other amounts, you're insane. So yeah, that's also why you have to play this amount of the 3 one is because if you run out of her, then congratulations, you're probably losing the game. So for consistency, we're playing 3 Prosperities and 3 Dualities. This is probably going to go down to 2, and I'll explain why in a little bit. But these are really good all day. The only time this was bad is I pot a duality and hit double prosperity into a duality after I'd already prosperitied, so that was amazing. So yeah, this deck doesn't really have the limitation of the special when you're playing sphere mode, but we're going to change that out. Like I said, we'll get into that. Now we have the spot removals. So we're just playing 7 spot removal cards. Most people are playing a little bit more, and they're playing the extra compulse. This is very good into Kashtira. I wasn't too worried about Kashtira because we just already have a really good matchup into that. Dogmatic of Punishment is just infinite value every time you activate it for the most part. And then Tears of the End Root was just good. You take something that they want and you give them something they don't want. So that's just good. I wouldn't change this spot removal lineup. I saw usually at least 1 in my hand every time, and that's all you want to see. Sometimes more, but most of the time you want to see engine. Now for the super fun stuff, skill drain obviously, and I'm only running 2 dimensional barriers. This isn't as good in the Kashtira as like I wanted it to be. And like, yeah, it's very good into Despia, which is arguably our hardest matchup. You just don't want to clog on this, and it kind of feels bad. You can just continuously set it and set it and set it and set it. 3 skill drain obviously because we want to be better than our opponent.
Good cards.
It is. This came up against the Despia player that I played into. But he had Jinzo, so it didn't matter.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's actually funny.
Yeah, it was a bummer for me. So now our going second cards, triple evenly matched because we don't care about the battle phase. This card was amazing. This card was a blowout. Round 1 into Adventure Kashtira. Or not Adventure Kashtira, I'm sorry. Adventure Scareclaw Kashtira. He ended on no Griffin Rider, but he ended on the token with like a full board and 2 cards in hand, and this went cool. Now you lose the game. And then we're running 2 sphere mode. These are getting subbed out for Lava Golem. Nobody played into this, but 1 time somebody played into it, and I didn't draw it anyway, so it didn't matter. No, I take that back. I did sphere mode a Despia player, but then he banishment to get out the Dragoons that I sphere moded, so he double Dragoons me that turn, and I just couldn't win.
Jeez.
Yeah, it felt great. So this is probably going to be Lava Golem, and that's going to trim the dualities down a little bit.
Nice.
So, and then, to me, this deck has just a tiny amount of room for tech cards, and the tech cards that I went with were running 3 tech cards. Running 3 Judgment in the mains. Everyone and their mom and their grandma and their grandpa and their brother and sister is running evenly matched in their deck. So you have to have an out to this, because guess what happens if you get evenly matched after you set 5? Like, you probably lose. And yeah, people are like, oh, but you can big welcome, bounce your stuff back, get them in the graveyard, blah, blah, blah. Cool, that's awesome. You know what happens if I run out of chicks to summon? I lose the game. So, yeah. So this came in clutch. This was amazing. Every time I saw it, I think I used this on one evenly, but most of the time I was using this on, like, letting people get crazy amounts of, like, think that they're getting crazy amounts of value, think that my back row is not real. Then they would make, like, an Xyz or a Link or something, and you Solemn Judgment it, and they lose from there. So this card was amazing. I recommend maining this card, personally. And then we're running one of the Get Screwed, and this is the 41st card. I just needed something that I could set with Lord of the Heavenly and be fine with. This card might get cut, but I don't think I used it but once all day. And when I used it, it was to set a punishment, and it didn't matter all that much. This card is unfair. This resolved one time I called spells against the Despia player. This was in our game 2. Yeah, our game 2. And he had no spells in hand. So I don't actually know if this card is good. Of course it's good, but I just don't know that I'm going to continue to rely on this card as heavily. That's the main board. It's 41 cards. We're going to go into the extra deck here. This extra deck, most of the time, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Mattered once. Mattered once. And now we get into, like, the actual reason. 3 Natis. This card is great with Dogmatic of Punishment. So I wouldn't. You could probably run this at 2. I run it at 3 because I don't have a second one of this, because I accidentally sold a teammate the second one, not realizing that I'd already sold it. So in replacement for this, I ran this card. I didn't use this, so that can go there. This card is just great, obviously. In tandem with this allows you to send a Winged Beast when you send him to the graveyard. He's 3,500, so most of the time he gets rid of everything, whereas Garura is not. But it is, alas, a little 1,500 monster, so it can't do much with punishment.
That's a new Tri-Brigade out of Photon?
Yeah, so you send it with punishment, you blow up whatever you want, and then you draw a card, because that's cool. But like I said, I only ran one of this, so I am a monkey. The second one, because in a perfect world, you want to run the second of this. I did not, though, so you know. Didn't play this. When Pegasus, it's good in certain situations. Omega, it's good in certain situations. Didn't draw it, or you didn't use it. This is good in certain situations. This was the card that, like, I can't make this card, right? You can't make Dragoons. But when you're playing against Kashtira and they unicorn you, or they mind hacker you, I don't want them to go after my one-up Guru. So I let them take this.
Yeah.
So they took it one time, the only time that I played the cash, and he took it. And I was like, haha, it worked perfectly. And then I still didn't draw. All right, so getting into the sideboard, this is like what I'm actually very proud of. I say very proud of when it takes inspiration for Ryan Yu. So, you know, I'm proud of it. It performed flawlessly. I didn't have a problem with it all day, to be honest. So we ran 1 Harpy's Feather Duster. We hate the mirror match. 1 Labyrinth. This card could probably be in the main. It is very good. It is very strong, and it helps you with the out-resourcing your opponents. But yeah, so it's really good. 1 Imperial Iron Wall. I hard drew this 2 times, and both times that I hard drew it, my opponent had evenly matched, so it turns out I'm just better than them. I kind of want to pump this up, to be honest with you, because everyone is running evenly matched and you want to see it, but that is also something that would want to be in tandem with Lord of the Heavenly Prison. Also, I know people, you should know this, when you Lord of the Heavenly Prison, Imperial Iron Wall, and you flip Imperial Iron Wall up, it doesn't get banished because it can't get banished. So, yeehaw mechanics. 2 goes in match. This is for things like Kashtira. It's really good in the Kashtira. It worked very well. I didn't draw it at all, but you know, works well in theory. Rivalry is supposed to be really good into most things. It's really good when your opponent doesn't see evenly matched. So I wouldn't actually know how this works after it's resolved. But obviously it is a good card. Despia is this deck's quote worst matchup. I actually think it's an Ashuria Runic. And this card kind of does hit both, so it's very nice. And then we're playing the second Lord of the Heavenly Prison. This card came in every time. This is why I think this should have probably been main decked at 2. So what I would do is I would actually, when I revealed it, I would just lick the back of it and stick it to my forehead. And it worked every time. Shout outs to, there was somebody in the regional deck profile who did that, and it made me want to do it, and I did it. I got a good laugh, and it was just fun to do. It kind of eased up the game state. Because most of the time when you use this, people get upset with you. But when you lick it and stick it to your fucking forehead, they don't care anymore.
I actually did see him do this.
Yeah, this is true. All right, so then we ran the hand traps. This card came in almost every game. This card was great. I want to say main it, right? I want to. But God, this deck is just, there's not a whole lot of room to fit. Like I said, I believe there's about 5 flex spots, maybe, that you could probably do. 7 if you cut Sphere Modes and Lava Golems. But this card was great all day. It helped me not, it's like some, with this deck, all your cards have to 2-for-1, right? Your Dogmatica Punishment, your Big Welcomes, they can't 1-for-1 or you will slowly lose the game. It's just going to happen. And this card just helps you simplify game states, especially when Branded is our worst matchup, Ashing Branded Fusion. So yeah. I did use this against the Branded player, but he's playing, I don't know what it's called. It's a normal summon dragon monster that it works like Branded Fusion, or not Branded Fusion, Fusion Deployment. We like reveal something, special something. It was cracked. I didn't even know what was going on. And I'm a Branded player. All right, and then MVP, Lancia.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I saw this a lot, and boy, did it help. I shotgunned this a lot when in tandem with, where's it at? Tears of the Underroot. So you get rid of something that they have, and then you give them, everyone's running Pot of Prosperity, and then you give them Pot of Prosperity back, and then when you pass turn, you just stand by phase Lancia, and congratulations, now they can't do anything. So you know what Wonder of the Back Row is, you take up a slot, and you effectively have removed something and you've made your opponent quite tilted. So this was good all day. I'm very glad that I ran this. This is also obviously good. It's evenly matched. So yeah, that is the main, the side, and the extra. I don't know that I would change anything about this side other than like possibly like putting Labyrinth in the main and bumping up Imperial Iron Wall to 2. That's just how much I liked it. I love the Lancia. I love the Ash. Main deck needs to change a lot. So here's the problem with this and why I probably will not run it again. Everyone and their mothers is prepared for this deck. Everyone. This deck is super easy to beat because people are running evenly matched Feather Duster and stuff like that. And yeah, when you have like the answers for it, then who cares? But the problem is, you don't always draw the answers. And every time I didn't draw the answer was the game that I auto-lost. And it feels bad to auto-lose, because what's cool about this deck is usually when you get to play, you win the game. It comes down to the wire most of the time because, again, your cards have to 1-for-2. But you usually can win the game because of the grind resources in this. So that's why I love the deck. But again, on the flip side is everyone is playing these cards that out everything. It's just, it doesn't feel good to get evenly matched scoop. It just doesn't. So I'm going to keep this deck. I'm not going to sell it. I will probably wait for this deck to fall off the radar a little bit, if ever, and then I'll pick it back up. So that's the deck, Labyrinth. I love this deck. I truly do. I love control decks. I love that you get to outplay your opponent when you get to play. 2-for-1ing their cards. But I probably won't play this deck at, like, I'm going to YCS Philly, I'm going to a few regionals. I probably won't take this to some regionals. Because this deck doesn't handle getting blown out by, like, evenly matched and Harpy's Feather Duster very well. And people can be like, yeah, well, most decks don't. That's fine. But if you look at most sideboards, for regionals lately, it's 3 evenly matched, it's Harpy's Feather Duster, and it's 2 Lightning Storms. Yeah. Or something like that. And yeah, like, you can draw the answer, and then yeah, you get to play. But hey, when you don't draw the answer, you just auto lose. Yeah. And what's crazy though is, like, Trap Tricks is like the other control trap list right now. That A can play through an evenly matched because Sarah triggers. We cannot. Like, as I was saying earlier, yeah, you can big welcome, you can welcome during the battle phase, etc., to clear your board and to try and get stuff in the graveyard. But eventually you're going to lose, because that's just, you're playing to lose at that point, unless your opponent opened up very subpar. But I will keep testing this deck. Lord of the Heavenly Prison needs to get bumped up, that's for sure. Imperial Iron Wall can probably get bumped up as well. And I'm going to just go from there. I'm going to still test it a little bit, but it's not my main choice for Philly or the 2 regionals we have upcoming. But that's the list. It was a lot of fun going out to Action. They did really great. They always have a really good tournament every time that we go out there. Like Preston said earlier, it was me, him, and Alex. Alex took first. Baby Girl took first. The Bubbler No More. That profile is already up on the channel, so if you haven't seen it, go check that out.
Yep.
I think we also have Jordan Westrix, right?
Yeah, he just dropped one. Yep.
And soon, Michael Murphy's Edison deck. That'll be cool. I don't know a damn thing about Edison.
We also have a Sword Soul deck profile dropping soon.
Yes, Michael Moore. He has his own YouTube channel. Go make sure to check him out. He's a really good Sword Soul player. He's been on that deck for forever. Check out our last few videos. They're pretty good so far. And until next time, we'll see you later.
Peace.